Hello everyone, today I'm working on this SD40-2. It's a Kato and it's got this weird paint job that's gotta go, and I'm gonna repaint it to my liking. It's missing the horn, and one of the handrails is broken here. So I'm also gonna change it to micro trains couplers. So it was advertised as an SD60, which it's not. This is the good stuff, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can strip this paint away. So I've got to take the shell apart. SD40s, you can use the box, or there's tabs under here that help you grab it. They help you grab the drive and pull it down. This is probably just as easy as using the box. Everything's there on the drive, everything looks good. This is probably a good runner right out of the box. So I'm gonna set this aside for a minute and I'm gonna work on the shell. So I've got to take the shell apart because I want to remove the windows for when I paint this. So just make sure that you loosen up your handrails from the cab. That's very important because you don't want them to break. So I've only got one to repair. That's pretty good considering how old this is. Looks like they're stuck on there pretty good. But that's okay, I've got the tools for this. There we go. In the back there's two little tabs holding your shell. These usually are not too hard to slide on through. Should be pretty easy. I don't really want to break this because they hold the shell there pretty nicely. It was in fact pretty easy to get it done. I just couldn't see what I was doing. And then in the front there, your windows. Let's refocus this a second. On the bottom there, your windows, they hold the shell back in. So you got the windows and the handrails to worry about. So make sure your handrails are out, no problemo. Then the cap comes out, and then you separated your top from the bottom. There's number boards and the headlight over here, so I'll take care of that off camera. And then these windows here, I just happen to think that one of them isn't put correctly, so it'll just come right out without too much fuss. So all you do is you push with your finger, then you push the other window out, and then they'll just slide out. Usually they slide out pretty easy. This one's being stubborn for one reason, which I don't know. Anyways, I'll work on that off camera. So I got my side windows out, and the front window, it just pushes out. Just like that. Now my cab's ready for painting. And I'll pop out the handrails. What I do is I just get under the first step and I prop it out. Just like so. And then that releases the steps. And the same thing for the back. And for the other side. There. Now it's ready for the stripper. So I got an unexpected surprise. When I removed the paint, I found a pretty good Conrail paint under there. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do maybe a little bit of touch-ups, and I'm gonna do some dull coat on this, and I'm gonna keep it like that. That's gonna be great. So while my dull coat is drying, I'm gonna clean up my drive. I found a little box for all my parts. I also took a minute and I found a little horn for it because the horn was missing. I have a bunch of extra parts, so it's always good to have that. You never know, it could come in handy. And the gas tank, and then 2 screws. So this, I tested it with my leads and it was a good runner already. But since I have everything in my hands, I have the time to do it. So I'm gonna clean it up. So my truck should just fall out at this point. The contact strips, I don't know if you can see, but they're pretty dirty. So that I'm gonna clean these with some steel wool. That should shine them up good. Yeah, this one too is pretty ugly. And then I'll take a little screwdriver, spread out the frame, and my truck should just fall out. These have an arrow at the bottom, so I can't really mix them up. So there, let's take a look at this. They look pretty good. They feel pretty good. I'm still gonna clean them. And then inside here, this little sd40, those are really good runners. They still make a good engines, Kato, but when they started making these, it was they were the one to beat. They still are, I think. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of lubrication. The trick to these is really the wheels, but since I have this in my hands, I'm going to give it just a drop. And then I'll work on my trucks. But really, what really counts is how clean your wheels are. So these, they start out pretty nice, but I'm still gonna take a look at them. And that should all help a little bit. I didn't test it on the track, probably this was a good runner. But I like to have my wheels squeaky clean. So I always clean them with my rag. And that really makes a big difference. See, it didn't look dirty, but my rag's a little dirty here. I'll do the other side. See, it's still worth doing. My rag's a little blacker. So that's kind of nice. So I'll do the other 4 wheels off camera. So now I'm ready to put everything back together. You don't have to start by the middle. All these wheels are interchangeable, so that is not a problem. And then the 2 contact strips. They have a little pin to hold them, so it should be very easy to find. And look out, these have a side. They have a side that they prefer. The top of the contact strips should be close to the tower here. So make sure that your bearings or the pointed end is in their end caps. Make sure that that's right good, and then you can run it a little bit with your finger just to make sure that everything's good. Then you can put your side frames back on. Then you keep testing it every step of the way. There should be no restriction whatsoever. Looks pretty good to me. Now I'm ready to put everything back together. So I'm checking for my arrow. So the guy goes like this, and then this little guy goes like so. Then I'm gonna put my my 2 contact strips, so they go over and under here. And the gas tank, I'm gonna put the gas tank to hold them together. They cleaned up pretty good. Same for this side. The gas tank goes towards the front. The fill holes, which are here, go towards the front. There's also a little key here to help you find the front, which it doesn't have at the back. So then I can slide in my trucks. There's no forward or backwards on these. So I'm spreading it out just enough to let it pass. And I'll do the same thing for the other side. Make sure that my arrow's lined up. So the arrow points to the outside of the locomotive. There. Now I can bring in my 2 screws and just tighten them up properly. And then I put my 2 little light boards. That's one of the older units, you know, no DCC compatible, but good runner. So I'll keep them. You guys can have all the DCC units. So we're almost done here. Now I gotta finish up working on the shell. Now while I have my sails still assembled, it's the best time to come in and do couplers. Makes it way easier to get in there. I've got some really nice set of couplers. I could use a screw or I could use the retainer it comes with. Much easier this way. And voila. And then this little guy comes in here the same way. Nice and easy. And I bring its retainer. And that's it. We're in good shape now. And I'll bring the handrails back. I still have to do some work on the handrails, but I can do that once the cab is in. Just have to guide this over here to its place where it wants to be. Then I can put my windows back in the cab. Start with this one, the front window that has the headlights. So that just goes straight. You just need to push it in. To me, it really feels like it knows where to go. You just have to nudge it in, and then that's it. You're done. And I'll do the same thing for the side. 2 side windows. So you just push them in there. Once they're in, you'll hear them click. Same for the other side. My paint job's a little damaged, but it wasn't too rare to see Conrail engines with bad paint. I guess this would have been the perfect timing to do a weathered job, but I'm not really into that much. There, my cab windows are in. Then there's a headlight that goes to the back here, and that involves a little bit of swearing, so I'm going to do this one off camera. So now I can unite my cab with the sill, and that I take my time because of these little tabs here. 2 little tabs on the here, I don't want to break them, so I really do take my time to do that. There, that came in nice and easy. And the windows also have a tab, so you want to make sure you press them in there gently. And then you can put these handrails back. So I have a little bit of handrail work to do, but this thing's coming along. And I'm still missing this handrail here, so I'm gonna be working on that next. Other than that though, pretty good looking shell. So to repair my handrails, this is what I use. So you can get these sometimes with garbage bags, or I get them from my dry cleaner. all you gotta do is, there's a little wire in there. All you gotta do is clean it up, and then you can bend it to shape and glue it together. I find that that's pretty convincing, although this wire would be too small for HO scale. In N scale, I find it's just the right size. So there, and it's very malleable, so it's easy to make it straight. So I'm going to start making my shape. So once I have it bent to shape, I'll just cut it to the length that I want. And that will be that. I'll paint it black. Now that my handrail has been put in place, I can put the shell back on. So that should go right back, nice and easy. And don't forget to put your little horn. I don't know why that's so important to me, but it is. So I really like to have that. And again, in scale you're going to be working with some small parts. So that takes a little bit of patience. But once you got it worked out, it's really rewarding. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.